This is Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is about data, and in this lesson we will define data, we will explain the importance of context, and we will distinguish between categorical and quantitative data. So first of all, let's define data. Data are systematically recorded information. So that's a pretty simple definition. Here we have a bunch of information, and the question is, does it rise to the level of being called data? And I would have to say no, because it's not systematically recorded. It's just a jumble of information. But if we took the same information and rearranged it, now it's data because it's systematically recorded. When you're looking at data, there are six important things that we call the W's used to give the information context. You always want to describe everything in context. And when you're describing in context, the two most important things are who was measured and what was measured. The other four things are somewhat important, but not nearly as important. So here we have some data, and if we wanted to know who was measured, we would look right here on the side, and we can see Joe and Sally were measured. And then if we want to know what was measured, we can look across the top here and see that they measured height, hair color, brand of car, and number of siblings. So when you're looking at this table, this is called a two-way table, by the way, each individual being measured is called a case. So Joe is a case, Sally is a case. And then the data that's recorded about each individual is an observation. So what we have observed about Joe is that he's 68 inches tall, he has brown hair, he drives a Ford, and he has two siblings. Those are observations. The what that is being measured, each column here is called a variable. The characteristics recorded about each individual are called variables, and they're called variables because they vary from one case to the next. Each variable falls into one of two groups. It's either categorical variables or quantitative variables. Categorical variables are ones that fall into categories such as small, medium, large, or I'm an A student, a B student, a C student. Falls into a category. So in this table, hair color is categorical and brand of car is categorical. Quantitative variables are ones that are usually recorded with numbers. They almost always have units attached, and they are things that you measure. So in this case, height is quantitative, and number of siblings is quantitative. Okay, some notes. Quantitative data variables almost always have units, and in this table, this is information about Michigan State football. In the height category, this would be quantitative data. The units are not explicitly told here. It would be better if they were told, but from experience we know this is 6 feet 0 inches. Quantitative has units. Weight is also quantitative. The 190 here we can probably assume is pounds. Over here we have a number, 30, but that is not necessarily quantitative data. Sometimes you'll have data that really doesn't fall into either category of being quantitative or categorical, and that would be something like the number on your jersey. It's something like an ID number or a zip code. It's just because there's only one item in that category, so it's not exactly categorical. Name, of course, would be considered a I mean, this would be like the who, and then these other things across the top, these are all the things that are observed about each person. Position is categorical, class is categorical, and the hometown could be considered categorical even though most of the people would be from different towns. Also in your notes says The third bullet point, many variables can be used as categorical or quantitative. For example, an MME score, such as a 2, would make it quantitative, but if you instead say 2 means that you meet your expectations, then it's categorical. Okay, and that's it for this first half of chapter 2.